Hi there. What you're about to watch is a recording from a live webinar event that I hosted called Happy Shoulders. And the participants who attended, I sent them a PDF that outlines the routine that I'm going to demonstrate in the video. But don't worry, you can still get that PDF. There's a link in the description of this video. So go to that link and then you can get your copy as well. All right, well, with that, enjoy the video. So here we go. So welcome. This is my free webinar for Happy Shoulders. So I'm so happy that you're here and you can make it. I appreciate you taking the time. So this is going to be really helpful if you're experiencing a lot of stiffness or if your range of motion, if you've noticed that has decreased over months, years, however long it's been, then this is what's going to be a really great starting point to help you regain that mobility and to ease that stiffness. Okay, so let's get started. So Be Well with Amy, that's my online yoga business. I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. So my name is Amy, as I say, yoga and fitness instructor. So I've been teaching for 7 years and online for the past 3.5. And so what my real passion or goal is to help people feel better. I'm trying to focus on how you feel, not on how you look. So when I'm teaching or doing these sorts of things, I want to help you feel better. In this case, reduce your stiffness, help you be able to move more freely. I want to help people relax. I want to help them feel energized, feel strong, confident. So everything I do that's what it's centered on, is helping you feel as best as you can. So that brings us to our topic today, which is our shoulders. So your shoulder, this is an image or a cartoon drawing of a shoulder joint. So we have this is the top of your arm bone, your humerus, and then here's your scapula, your shoulder blade, and this is your shoulder joint. So your shoulder is the most mobile joint in your body. So it's important to just know a little bit of background before I get into these movements, because when you have the understanding, then it's more likely that you'll do these movements because you know why it's going to help you. So your shoulder, as I said, most mobile joint than anything in your body. And with that brings a lot of good things. You can do so many things. You can reach up, reach over, behind your back. But then since it is so mobile, then it also means it's a very complex structure, and it makes it more prone to issues such as the stiffness, the decreased range of motion, or injury, things like that. So it's kind of this double-edged sword. It's super mobile, makes it really awesome, but then also can have these issues associated with it. Now, we just talked about how mobile it is, but when you really think about it, your daily life, how much do you really move your shoulders? So they're capable of moving in so many ways. And as we will get to, there's the 6 movements that I'm going to show you. But day to day, we don't move our shoulders really that much. We move it when we're walking. So, you're walking, your arm is swinging front and back. And yes, that's some movement, but it's still not your full range of motion that you're capable of in that way. You might, wash your hair, so your hands come up here. Your shoulders still are not going all the way up. Maybe you reach something on a top shelf and that brings your arm all the way up. But even then, that's really only one side. You're usually always going to use your dominant side to do that. Getting dressed, things like that, you're moving your shoulders. But in general, we're, on the computer, we're sitting watching TV, we're driving. There's not a lot going on here. So then some reasons for shoulder stiffness and lower mobility, you see the first one I've listed is immobility, which is what I just described. So we're really not taking our shoulder through what it's capable of every day. And then, the term use it or lose it, it's kind of like that, right? So if you're not doing all those movements, then it is going to get stiff over time, and it's going to decrease your full range. But don't worry, that's not doom and gloom. You can improve it, and that's what we're here for. So this is not an exhaustive list, but some other reasons is arthritis, if you've had an injury, or if you've had surgery. So all of these can contribute to especially a lower range of motion. And I should, again, just make clear, I am a yoga instructor and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physio. So if you have had an injury, if you have had surgery, then definitely be sure to, clear it with your doctor, clear it with your physio before doing any other prescribed movements like I'm going to show you. But in general, all of these things, especially injury and surgery, once you've recovered to a certain point, the solution is the same. And it's that you need to move. So movement is really the secret sauce. You need to move. In some cases, like injury, surgery, maybe there's an arthritis, maybe some other intervention needed. But even if you have other things that you would need or would be helpful, there's no getting away from it. You need to move. So it's because it's this vicious cycle, right? Your shoulder is sore, it's difficult to move, then what we do is then we limit our movement. And it's a natural thought, right? It hurts to move. It's hard to move. So I'm just not going to move it. And especially like injury, surgery, when you're recovering, you feel like you want to, protect it. You don't want to move because you want it to recover. And while that's true to a point, eventually you do need to start getting into the movements or else it will just never be the same. So yes, it's a cycle. It's difficult. So you limit your movement. When you limit your movement, that makes the stiffness worsen. It can make your range of motion go down, decrease. I'll explain about that stiffness worsening from not moving in a moment. But then, of course, then we get back up to the top. Stiffness worsens, it's more difficult, it's more uncomfortable, and so you just stop moving even more, and we're in this cycle, right? So that's why we're here. We're going to break the cycle. This is where my 6 daily movements is going to help you. Okay, that's why we're here. And there's 2 reasons why this routine is going to help. So I want you to really understand this because, again, if you know the reason, then you're going to be more likely to stick to it and to do it. No one just wants to be told what to do. Here's these 6 things, do them. If you really know why it's going to help you, then I'm hoping then that will help motivate you to actually do it and stick to it every day. So the first reason is when you move, you're going to get this lubrication and nutrient delivery. So let me explain that. This is not just for your shoulder, by the way. This is for any joints, your fingers, your hips, your knees, your feet, your ankles. So when you move a joint, let's use the shoulder since that's what we're talking about, any real movement, even when we're walking, that's swinging back and forth, then there's a fluid called synovial fluid, and it's being released. And that only is released when you move. So when you move, this fluid is coming into your joint. That's going to help you because of lubrication, as I shows here. It's going to help reduce that friction between your bones. It's also, as I say here, nutrient delivery. Your synovial fluid contains nutrients that the cartilage that's on the ends of the bones that are coming together, it needs these nutrients. And so it's getting them from the synovial fluid. And we get that synovial fluid from movement, right? So you move your arm, not only are you lubricating your joint, making that stiffness lessen, but you are making your joint healthier because then your cartilage can get those nutrients that it needs. So that's the first thing. That's going to come from whatever movement you do. As you move, that synovial fluid is going to come out. So think of like the Tin Man. He needs his oil on his creaky joints, so do we, but we don't have a tin can. Instead, we need to move to get that to come out. The other reason this is going to help is that this 6 movements is going to bring your shoulder through its full variety of movements. These are all the ways your shoulder can move. Remember, it's the most mobile joint. Let's just compare it, for example, to your knuckle. Your knuckle can bend like this and it can go straight, and that's it. So this is the only way that joint bends or moves. Your shoulder is capable of much more. So these 6 movements will ensure that every day you're taking your shoulder through its full capacity, all of the movements, so that over time, it's going to make your range of motion grow. It's going to keep your shoulders happy, make them nice and healthy and happy. So one tip, you might be here because one shoulder in particular is bothering you. And if that's the case, then I'm going to suggest when we go through the movements together that you focus just on that shoulder. Because if you're doing them both at the same time, then maybe you're not giving that shoulder the attention that it needs. So since that's the one that's bothering you most, I want you to devote all your attention to that shoulder, and let's just focus on that one. If you're just feeling general stiffness, both sides feel about the same, then you can do both at the same time with me. All right, so then with that, let's get started. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can see me bigger. And I'm just gonna step back a little, or move my chair back. So if you have a chair without arms like mine, then you can stay in your chair. Again, you might want to move a little away from your desk if you are at a desk, just to give yourself some space. If you're in a computer chair that has arms, then you'll want to stand up so that you have the space to fully move. Okay, so now this routine, it's not complicated, it's nothing crazy, but that's the whole point of it. I want it to be simple. Just what's the most simple way that you can ensure you're getting all that movement through your shoulders so that, one, it's manageable. If I give you an hour routine to do every day, you're probably not going to do it. This should only take you about 5 minutes. So simple so that it's manageable, you can do it every day, and also it's not really complicated. You'll be able to do it on your own. And later today, I'm also going to send you a PDF. So you're going to have the outline of what we're doing. So don't worry, you don't have to remember it. You'll have that as a guide. Because there's 6, and it honestly can be kind of tricky to remember. Even myself, I have to think, oh, what's the other one? So you'll have your PDF. You can use that to just go through them. We're going to do 5 of each, and you just do that every day. Okay, so let's get started. So the first one we're going to do, you're going to sit nice and tall where you're standing. You can bring your arms to your side, and let's start with our palms facing forward. So the first movement we're going to do, and we're just going to move nice and slow and gentle, we're going to raise the arms up over your head. Now maybe this doesn't go all the way over your head, and that's okay. You're just going to go as much as you're able. So remember that this is a process, it's going to take time. So we're going to do that 4 more times. So we're doing 5 times of each. Reaching tall and reaching out and to the side. So we're never trying to rush. We're not just trying to get through it, right? We're not going up, down, up, down. We're taking our time. Here we are, moving, getting that synovial fluid releasing in our joints. And remembering, if you have one arm, maybe one arm goes way less high than the other, then that's the arm you can focus on. You can even just do that arm. All right. I don't know if that's 4 or 5. Let's do 1 more to be safe. So this is coming out and down, or up and down at the sides. So now we're going to do up and down again, but we're going to turn our palms in. I'm just rotating my chair so you can see better. But what we're going to do here is now we're reaching forward and up. So again, just as high as you're able. So don't worry if you don't reach all the way towards the ceiling, just as much as you can. And then we're reaching out and down, but we're not just stopping here by our sides. We're going to keep going. We're going to draw the arms back as far as we can. And then we're going to repeat. So still moving nice and gentle. So this is the movement, of course, on a much larger scale. This is our most common movement we do every day when we're walking. We're getting that front and back movement. What it's actually called is flexion, as we're bringing the arms up. And then as we bring the arms back, it's extension. So this is one of our most common movements, but we just don't do it in our full range generally. It would look a little weird if we did this every time we walked, I guess. All right, and let's do one more. Remember to go all the way back to complete. Okay, arms by your side. Now our next one, we're going to start with our arms out to the sides. So our arms are out and we're going to alternate sides. So you could even do, if you're just focusing on the one side, feel free to bring both arms because we are just going to alternate. Now let's start with the right hand. What we're going to do is we're reaching across our body and you can try to touch your shoulder. So that's bringing that bend across like this. And we're trying to keep lifted about shoulder height if you can. And then we're reaching it back out. And then other side, we're sliding across. We're going to see if we can touch the shoulder. And then you're going to slide it back across. And we're going to repeat alternating. So with all of these, I just want to again make it clear, don't worry where you're able to get to. If you can't reach your shoulder, that's okay. Just go to the level that you can, and you just do it every day, and you'll feel an improvement. And then as you're moving, just want to remind you to breathe. Moving nice and gentle, nice and slow. All right, let's do one more for each side. And then we can give our arms a little rest here. Of course, it's a little bit of work holding the arms out like that. So let them come down, taking a rest. So the next two that we're going to focus on, we've done 3 movements so far, 3 to go. The next 2 focus on rotation. So we're going to begin with our arms or our elbows shoulder height. Our elbows are bent about 90 degrees. Our palms are facing forward. Now we're going to be rotating from our shoulder. So we want to try to keep our elbow in line with the shoulder, so shoulder height, but just do your best here. So again, let me actually turn to the side to see a little better. So rotating from the shoulder, but you're going to imagine your hands pushing down, your elbows stay lifted, and then just going as low as you can. Again, don't worry if you're not able to get that low in this direction. Just do what you're able, and then we rotate back up. And you can push back even further if you can. So let's do this 4 more times. We rotate down and back. So these rotation, when we're coming forward, this is our internal rotation. We're rolling forward through the shoulders. And then as we draw back, this is our external rotation. And let's do 2 more. And the last one. And then again, we take a moment to give our arms a rest. Now let me give you one tip that you can use for that one. If you find it's a bit tiring holding the arms up, if it's harder to move, what you can do is, let's say I'm on an edge of a table. So if the table's right beside me and the edge is here, so there's nothing in front, I could stack up some books or a box, whichever, that I can rest my elbow on. And then you can take it through this movement while resting your arms. So it takes a little bit of the load off and just makes it a bit more passive and relaxing. So feel free to use that as an option if you find it quite tricky to keep that lift. All right, so the next one is also rotation. Now that one was our horizontal, our arm is out. Now we're going to do our neutral rotation. So for this, it's again 90 degrees, but our elbows are tucked in to our waist. And again, let me just kind of turn at an angle. Now we're going to start with both arms coming out. So this can be, it's not as natural of a movement, so it might feel a little bit funny, so just do your best. But trying to keep those elbows in, we're opening the arms out. So elbows stay tucked in. One common thing is when we do this, we bring the elbows away if we're not paying attention or careful. So trying to keep that, and it's just coming from your shoulder, moving out. Now we'll alternate arms coming in and back out. So your right arm, you can draw it in, you're internally rotating, and then we're rotating it out, externally rotating. Other arm, you're drawing it in and out. All right, and we continue our nice gentle pace. We're not rushing. And this can be a helpful one to do, especially in the beginning in front of a mirror, so you can really notice if your elbows are indeed staying tucked in and that you're getting that rotation, to ensure that you're getting the rotation from your shoulder. And as I always will remind you, don't worry about how far you're able to draw back. Maybe it's not very far. That's okay. Again, that's why you're here. That's why you're doing these. And then last one. One thing that you can do kind of as a check-in, if you're wondering, is my shoulder moving? You can put your hand on one shoulder if you're able to reach, and then try doing it. And you'll be able to feel that movement moving under your hand and your shoulder. So that's just kind of like a test you can do to make sure that you are getting that rotation. Last one, now is a circumvention. So you're doing a circle with your arms, and we do it in both directions. Let's start moving towards the back. So your arms are going to be straight. And now it's kind of like starting in our flexion way. We're reaching forward, but you can draw the hands inward, up, back, trying to keep your arms drawing back as much as you can, back and down. And then we repeat. So we swoop through the front, reaching up, back, and down. Good. So doing your nice gentle movement. It can be tempting to try to rush, but again, let's go nice and slowly. This also ensures that you're doing the biggest movement possible. When we tend to rush, we often kind of limit our movement. We do smaller circles. So let's keep going slowly so we can really focus on getting as big a motion as possible. Okay, one more in this direction. And then we're going to repeat that in the other way. So you can always give a little rest in between if you need. And then when we're ready to do it in the opposite direction, we start by drawing the arms back. Think about your shoulders. We're drawing the shoulder blades together, getting that openness through the chest. We keep drawing back as we reach up, forward, and down. So it's the same movement, but we're just reversing the direction. And this is your last one. So you can see how none of these movements are overly complicated, but they're just very effective movements. And now that we've done all of these, we've taken our shoulder through its complete range of motion, all the variety of movements that our shoulder is capable of. So this is what's really going to help you doing this every day. And let's do one last one. And then let the arms relax. Okay, now I can't say for sure if I did 5 of each for each one. Maybe I got distracted from talking, but that is the goal, is to do 5 of each movement. And then there's no quick fix, okay? So hopefully you even feel good after that. Just doing it one time can ease a little bit of the stiffness and just make it feel a little bit more loose. But especially in regards to your range of motion, that takes time. As I say, there's no quick fix. If you're here, you have probably been experiencing some of these issues for months, if not years. So just you need to be realistic that it will take time, but it's okay. It's worth it. It is worth it. What you need to do is be persistent and be patient. So do it every day. Just have a positive attitude. Know that you're doing good for yourself, and then you should feel that improvement. You should notice that improvement over time. Thank you for watching. As a reminder, you can get your own copy of that PDF I referred to in the video. Just go to the link in the description of this video and you can get your own copy. It's going to make it way easier for you to remember what to do and help you to do it every day. All right, so every day, that's going to be the key to really seeing that difference. So I wish you luck, I wish you well, and thanks again for watching.